Alright, welcome back to the channel and welcome to CZCW's Surf Slam 2022. We got a very fun card here for Surf Slam. Big, long build. No, it wasn't long. It was the average 4-week. I don't know why I felt the need to say long build. But yeah, it's time for Surf Slam. Main event. We're going to crown a new contender for Frankie-Boy in a fatal 4-way match. But kicking off the show, I'm going to run down the card real quick, go a little in depth on these storylines that we have going on. Kicking off the show, receiving his first ever championship match in CZCW, we will see Tony the Wonderful challenge Tigre Salvaje Jr. for the Extreme Championship. The Guru put both of these men over pretty strongly in his video package on the last episode of Coast to Coast. Tony the Wonderful being coined the future of this promotion. Tigre Salvaje Jr. breaking out, winning a singles title ever since the Wildcats disbanded. So yeah, that's going to kick off the show. We then have a trios match. The new stable, the cool kids on the block, the cool crew on the block, the Q crew, take on the California Dream, Sky Hermosa and Kira Lee, and Johnny Perez. Where if Johnny Perez and the California Dreams win, Johnny will get his one-on-one match in a cage against Zell Quinn at the next edition of Coast to Coast episode number 23. If they lose, I guess Johnny's got to go fuck himself. Following that, we have the Inner City Express versus the team of El Jaguar and Luis Montero Jr. Jaguar and Luis have been kind of directionless after both of their feuds wrapped up to start the save, so I've put them on a team to see how they do. They're kind of a fun team, little depth to the tag division. However, the Inner City Express, after losing to Gangster Nation on Welcome to the Coastal Zone, are not happy that El Jaguar and Luis are, quote, getting more opportunities than them, so they laid them out, challenged them to a match tonight to prove that they are better. We then have Heartbreaker versus Hugh Day Ask, where new member of the roster, Joanna Silver, is not safe from Heartbreaker. Nobody is safe from Heartbreaker, as Heartbreaker has immediately fallen in love for her. And, someone new who doesn't know how creepy and gross he is. He shot his shot, immediately got rejected, and is now trying to take it out on her boyfriend. However, her boyfriend is Hugh Day Ask, so good luck with that, Heartbreaker. We then have the Tag Team Championships up for grabs as the Beach Boys, very dominant in this save so far. They've been a very quiet threat for everyone in CZCW as they defend against the Gangster Nation, who are looking for their first ever tag team title run in CZCW. They are going to pull out all the stops. This is their second chance, their second match against the Beach Boys here in CZCW. Can they pull through? The Beach Boys are very underrated in the ring on how good they are, so it's not going to be an easy fight, but Gangster Nation aren't going to give in the slightest. After that, I believe, I might have the order wrong, it's going to be California Love Machine versus Seth Whitehead. Sean McFly refused to put Seth Whitehead in the world title number one contenders 4-way because he just lost the title match at Welcome to the Coastal Zone, and Sean McFly says, dude, I got a roster, one of the most talented rosters in the world, if not the most talented roster in the world. I got to narrow it down to 4 people to crown a new contender. I'm not going to put a guy that just lost the title match into that 4-way. Seth Whitehead responded with, you're a fucking idiot. I'm going to earn my stripes. And he's going to do that by taking out Frankie-Boy Fernandez's tag team partner, California Love Machine. So, how will that go? California Love Machine is no pushover. California Love Machine has given back the exact same energy that Seth Whitehead gave to him, and he pinned him on the previous episode of Coast to Coast to hand Seth Whitehead his second ever loss in the save. So California Love Machine and Frankie Boy are the only 2 people to get victories, clean victories over Seth Whitehead. And yeah, that's leading to that match. Following that, we will have for the COTT World Championship, originally supposed to be a champion versus champion match, but IPW wanted to fuck me and have Aldous Black Frere drop the IPW championship. So that's nice of them. But Aldous Black Frere probably the biggest name IPW have, at least my favorite name they have, taking on Frankie-Boy Fernandez in our semi-main. And then, of course, our main event, crowning a new number 1 contender, 4-way for the right to face Frankie-Boy Fernandez at Battle on the Beach on the next pay-per-view. It will be 4 of our biggest names: American Flash, Carlos Barrera, Frankie Perez, and Masked Cougar. Carlos Barrera, of course, having an incredible Extreme title run, which came to an end at the last pay-per-view, and he has given up his rematch clause to get into this 4-way. American Flash was screwed over on the last pay-per-view. Masked Cougar beat American Flash while screwing him over on the last pay-per-view. And Frankie Perez is, of course, probably our most consistently big name that the company's ever had. So they're the 4 men that Sean McFly decided to give this title match to, or title opportunity. I hate that word. Title chance to. But yeah, without further ado, let's get straight in to CZCW's Surf Slam 2022. Alright, so we kick off the pay-per-view with the very exciting and very fast-paced match for the Extreme Championship. Tigre Salvaje Jr. versus Tony the Wonderful. It goes 7 minutes and 37 seconds, and it was an X Division style, boom, 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 high speed, fast match. Both men got their shit in. It did pretty well in spite of the fact that neither man, they didn't click. It made for an awkward bout. But in the end, Tony the Wonderful, he really shone in this match. He did really well, but it wasn't enough to get the upset as Tigre Salvaje Jr. hits the Salvaje suplex, gets his first defense of the Coastal Zone Extreme Championship. 62 rated match. Really good way to start the show. Tony the Wonderful's hitting 40s already, so slowly but surely we are going to be getting Tony the Wonderful over. Up next is the 3v3, where if the team of Johnny Perez and the California Dreams can get the victory here on the next episode of Coast to Coast, Johnny Perez will get Zell Quinn one-on-one in a cage match on Coast to Coast, and that is exactly what happens as the Q crew come up short. They try everything. They try distracting the ref. They try bringing in objects. They try pulling up the tights, feet on the ropes. They kept trying, but if they put their feet on the ropes, then Kira Lee would be right there to knock their feet off. If they tried to distract the ref, then Johnny Perez would be right there to get the ref back on track. All the shenanigans the Q crew pulled did not work. In the end, Johnny Perez hits the triple jump tornado DDT, gets the victory, and he will get his cage match on the next Coast to Coast. A cage match on weekly TV. Johnny Perez and the California Dreams successfully win. 54 rated match. Couple people were off their game. Shit happens. We cut backstage where American Flash, he tries to apologize to Frankie Perez. He's like, look, I was being a cunt. I'll be honest. I don't have any problems with you. You're right. You can do whatever the fuck you want, but let's not fucking be hostile towards each other. We got enough to focus on. Let's just fucking bury the hatch. We don't have to be friends, but we can just fucking, get our shit done. And Frankie looks right at him, and he says, you are spending way too much time worrying about what other people do. You need to focus on yourself, because you are slipping down this card, and there are so many people on this roster that are chomping at the bit to be in the spot that you're in, and you're too busy focusing on whatever the fuck I'm doing, or whatever the fuck Johnny's doing, or Zell's doing, or Cougar's doing. Focus on yourself, or you will continue to lose your spot. Please leave me alone. That's the angle. Pretty harsh from Frankie Perez. But yeah, up next we have the Inner City Express versus the team of El Jaguar and Luis Montero Jr. And in a shocking upset, the Inner City Express get the victory. I'm sure El Jaguar and Luis Montero Jr. were the favorites going into this match, but the Inner City Express get the victory. after losing to Gangster Nation at Welcome to the Coastal Zone, they get a huge comeback victory. After 11 minutes and 46 seconds, Jay Becker hits the rocket launcher on Luis Montero Jr., and they win. El Jaguar had an incredible performance, but tonight was the night for the Inner City Express. They get a 63. Up next, we have Heartbreaker trying to prove to the world and to Joanna Silver that he is a Chad. He is not a virgin, but a Chad, and he's going to beat Hugh Dask so decisively that Joanna Silver will fall in love with him. It did not happen, as Hugh Dask makes quick work of him. Not quick work, but after 14 minutes and 10 seconds, he hits the cutthroat driver and wins. Heartbreaker foiled once again. Even Stevens cannot get a victory here. Poor guy just will never find the proper girl. Hugh Dask has probably found the love of his life in Joanna Silver. But, yeah, no, did not happen. Heartbreaker could not get the victory. 55 rated match. And up next are the Coastal Zone Tag Team titles up for grabs, as the Beach Boys have to defend once again against Gangster Nation. And this match I had set going 15 minutes. These two teams go to absolute war with each other. They hold nothing back. Gangster Nation, they're trying as hard as they can. They want to successfully get their first ever tag team title reign in CZCW. But everything that they do, the Beach Boys match their aggressiveness bar for bar. They are not the tag team champions for no reason. Simon Waves and Chet Chavez are one of the best teams that we have to offer. We don't get to showcase them that much because it's constantly, what are their challengers going to do? Who are their challengers? But the tag team champions are champions for a reason. But in this incredible match between these two teams, it all comes crashing down when out of nowhere, after the ref goes down, we see 3 men come out and attack Gangster Nation. 3 men important to CZCW's history, as Jackpot Jordan, Jake Idol, and Air Attack Weasel come out of nowhere and cost Gangster Nation the match. They run in, they take out Waylon Walls and Simon Waves and screw them over. Jackpot Jordan, Jake Idol, and Air Attack Weasel are back. This technically makes defense number 9 for the Beach Boys. However, they laid out both teams. They come in, they lay out Gangster Nation, they lay out the Beach Boys, they drag Simon Waves' body over Waylon Walls, wake up the ref counts to 3, and then they continue their assault on the teams. And they stand tall. Returning to Coastal Zone Championship Wrestling is Rich and Famous and Air Attack Weasel. Why are they here? We don't know. They don't give an explanation. They just make it clear that they are back to take these Coastal Zone tag team titles. Making a huge statement, costing Gangster Nation their first ever tag team title reign, and re-solidifying their spot in CZCW on their first night back. Up next, we have Seth Whitehead versus California Love Machine. This match goes 20 minutes and 16 seconds. I, honest to God, do not know why Seth Whitehead's matches just are doing horribly. Is it because he lost one fucking match? Oh, and California Love Machine can't follow a fucking script. Oh, man. Alright. California Love Machine is really fucking me up here, man. Whatever. I mean, Seth Whitehead, I don't want to... whatever. We can't jump to conclusions yet because his individual performances are great. This had all the makings of a great match, but for whatever fucking reason, these segment ratings with Seth Whitehead are just not going well. However, it's also on California Love Machine. He can't follow a fucking script. Seth Whitehead can't call it in the ring. I don't know. I don't know what to say. All I know is what happened in kayfabe, and what happened was after 20 minutes and 16 seconds, tonight, Seth Whitehead was the better man. Look, he might not be the cleanest wrestler in the world. He might not be a babyface here in CZCW, but Seth Whitehead is for sure one of the best competitors that this company has to offer. Despite all the backstage politicking that this guy does, he backs it up in the ring. He might be a complete prick and asshole to everyone that comes across him in kayfabe, but when push comes to shove, he can back up his words. So, 56 rated segment as we go into the COTT World Championship match. And this is the rating we've been looking for, a 72 rated match, as we see Frankie-Boy Fernandez make defense number 5 of the COTT World title. I think defense number 2 here in Coastal Zone exclusive matches. But a great match. Aldous Blackfrere did pretty well for a guy that is not a regular here in Coastal Zone. They don't even click, and it still got a 72. So, shit did great. 20 minutes and 30 seconds, Frankie-Boy Fernandez hits the dirt nap to make defense number 5 of the COTT World title. And after the match, despite everything that was said and done between these two men, in true Confederation of the Territories fashion, they end their feud and interaction with a handshake. They do respect each other as competitors. And yeah, it's time for the main event, as we're going to determine a new number 1 contender for Frankie-Boy Fernandez's Coastal Zone Championship. Fatal 4-way between American Flash, Carlos Barrera, Frankie Perez, and Masked Cougar. All men both have a claim and a not claim for the world title. American Flash is one of the top names. He's the biggest homegrown name that this company has to offer, but he did suffer a loss to Masked Cougar at the last pay-per-view. Masked Cougar beat him at the last pay-per-view, however, thanks to enlarged help from Fox Mask, so the win was pretty tainted. Frankie Perez lost a world title match not that long ago, but he hasn't lost that much since. He beat Zell Quinn at Welcome to the Coastal Zone. And Carlos Barrera, hot off of a really strong, dominant reign as Coastal Zone Extreme Champion. Really bringing that belt to new heights, bringing himself to new heights. He's finally ready to take a next step. Can he shock the world? He is the dark horse in this match, despite getting a victory over Masked Cougar on the go-home show. Who gets the victory here tonight? The match goes... It gets a 77 beautiful match in 21 minutes and 23 seconds. It is Masked Cougar who gets the victory. He will get a rematch for the Coastal Zone World Championship. Him and Frankie-Boy Fernandez faced off in the first ever episode of this save. Masked Cougar will get a rematch. He went from old living legend babyface at the start of the save to now shit-eating. I've been saying shit-eating during this entire recording session. I think the term I'm trying to look for is Weasley shit or something. I don't know. I'm thinking of an exact term that like Brian Alvarez used to use a lot, but I don't remember exactly what he would say. But yeah, his character has done a 180 since the last time him and Frankie-Boy Fernandez faced off. But yeah, great main event, 77 rated main event. Masked Cougar with a 79 performance. He definitely had the performance of this match. American Flash did really well. Frankie Perez did well. Carlos Barrera, he didn't break 70, but anything above 60 in my eyes means you held your own. He did pretty well for his first real main event match. But yeah, this is the second fucking 4-way in like the past 2 weeks that I've ran on this channel to main event a pay-per-view, and it did really well. Obviously, it wasn't as good as the one in the 5 SSW save, but yeah, this 4-way did really well. Masked Cougar will get a world title match against Frankie-Boy Fernandez at Battle on the Beach. And Frankie-Boy comes out to go face-to-face with his new number 1 contender when he is jumped from behind by Fox and Fox 2. The Coastal Kings lay him out. California Love Machine does not make the save. He was choked out by Seth Whitehead. He is in no condition to come out and save his brother, his tag team partner. The Coastal Kings lay Frankie-Boy Fernandez out, and they stand tall to end Surf Slam. Frankie-Boy Fernandez has a brand new challenger in the form of the first challenger he had in this save. And that is the final shot of Surf Slam. Overall rating is a 77. Pretty good show. Main evented really well. Thank you. Seth Whitehead, you are just the fucking greatest of all time, Seth Whitehead. Chet Chavez, you're awesome too. I think somebody else was upset. Kira Lee, I think it was. I don't remember. I think it was Kira Lee. I'm trying to use these to not unpiss them off. We made a lot of money on that pay-per-view. That's good to see. Good to know that we're making a shit ton of money on ticket sales. But yeah, so I'm gonna let me, first off, how did we do here? 51 in the Southwest. We're inching ever closer to that medium rating. We're inching ever closer. Last time I checked on the finances, I think we were at like minus 7,000. We make a lot of money in we're kind of, ever since upping the production, we're kind of making a loss on these coast-to-coast tapings right now, but we more than make up for it in pay-per-view ticket sales. So let me see where, oh yeah. I think next month we'll be able to finally, I have one more appearance for Black Frere. I have one more appearance for Aldous Black Frere. Okay, sweet. Alright, it was these three. I'm just gonna have to keep fucking praising them. But yeah, no. So we had to run that pay-per-view on a weird day. Here is the predicament that I am in going into the next Coast to Coast. I have to make a choice between Kira Lee and Ellie or Frankie Perez. I mean, I think it's obvious that we just have to do our first show without Kira Lee and Ellie. Our first two tapings. But yeah, next episodes will be a standard build. 2 tapings of Coast to Coast back to back. We will have Aldous Black Frere for the first tapings at least. Maybe I'll do something with that. I don't know. That would be fun, I think. Yeah, I don't think I have anything else I want to talk about other than we made a lot of money in ticket sales, which is really cool. Was that our best pay-per-view? I don't think so. It was our best pay-per-view. Tied for our best overall show because that one episode of Coast to Coast did really fucking well for some reason. What was on that Coast to Coast? Yeah, Going Coastal versus El Jaguar and Luis. Fucking, what a shocker. Did incredible. Who would have guessed? Yeah, that's gonna do it for this episode of the Push for Relevancy. Kind of a lesser pay-per-view, I know. But you gotta have those occasionally. Occasionally you need a pay-per-view with, especially coming off of a pay-per-view like Welcome to the Coastal Zone. You need those building block pay-per-views. Obviously, seeing as it was our second best show, it produced value. It was a good watch. But in terms of storyline progression, it was a lesser one. But yeah, main eventing, Battle on the Beach will be Masked Cougar and Frankie-Boy Fernandez for the Coastal Zone Championship. We also have the cage match between Zell Quinn and Johnny Perez to look forward to on the next Coast to Coast. But other than that, I hope you all enjoyed this edition of CZCW, and I hope you all come back for the build to the next pay-per-view.